Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is the Pylon, an NFC North podcast. I'm Big Z, representing the Detroit Lions, and let's just go around here. So we got Remy representing the Vikings.
I guess all I can say is just keep hanging in there. I don't know. Do your thing, Vikings.
And then tied for first place, representing the Pack, we got Kinger.
Another week, another win. Go Pack.
And then last but not least, we got Barney, representing also the first place Bears.
Big Dick Nick. Come on, fellas, say it with me. Big Dick Nick.
Nobody's saying it with me on this podcast. Oh, boy. You know what? Let's get to you, Barney, right now. The Bears just keep pulling a game out of their ass. It's quite incredible. Obviously, the big news in this game is Mitch Trubisky gets benched for Nick Foles, and Nick Foles leads them back in the second half for a victory. Just talk about that. Why did Mitch get benched? I mean, kind of just go through that thought process, I guess, with the Bears there.
Yeah, this game kind of shaped out the same way the last two did. And the leash just got pretty short here. He was just missing some throws. I mean, it wasn't terrible, but he wasn't being productive. We can't fault him for his first drive because our kicker missed a field goal. But when it comes down to it, he's just not seeing things. And like the interception he had in the third quarter, opening up the second half. There's zone coverage. When we're doing crossing routes, you got to be able to identify that. And he just didn't even look, and he threw it right to, the DB that came crashing in front of Jimmy Graham. So, just an ugly start to the game. And, Nick came in, and it just felt like a completely different vibe. Nick had 6 drives, and at the time, we were down 26-10, so 2-possession game if you hit both those 2-point conversions. It's just he had 6 possessions. 3 of them resulted in a touchdown. 2 of them resulted in passes that were dropped and or intercepted because it was dropped in the end zone. So he's at least he was moving the ball towards the red zone and getting us in scoring position. And that was just the difference between what he was doing and what Mitch has ultimately failed to do. So I tip my cap to Nagy. It's never really easy to just, make a move like that, especially right as the third quarter started with that interception. But that was what was needed to take care of today. And Big Dick Nick came on in and just unzipped his pants, and it was awesome.
So is Nick Foles the starting quarterback starting next week? I would imagine so, right? You don't just make a move like that and then bench him again. Right.
And Nagy gave the political correct answer and said, we're not there yet. We'll discuss it. But I don't see how in the world, the offense, like I said, 5 of the 6 drives he had went to the end zone, so it's a completely different offense, at least in those 2 quarters, right? I mean, we were still facing Atlanta's defense, which is pretty shitty so far. But that's another thing. It's like that was a horseshit defense, missing key players, and Mitch Trubisky wasn't able to do anything. So I don't see how they could put Mitch back in, not at least until Nick maybe royally fucks up. But right now, I'd say Nick's the starting guy next week.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens there. Do you think Mitch got a fair shot? I just feel like it was kind of surprising. I didn't feel like he was playing terribly, right? You tell me. I'm not 100% focused on that game.
No, and you gotta understand, not everything that everyone wants to just hang all the shit on Mitch and whatnot. It's like, dude, our offensive line is atrocious. Charles Leno shouldn't even be in the league, let alone one of the fucking premier guys on our team in terms of money. I think he's like the 5th highest paid or 4th highest paid guy. That is one of Pace's biggest fucking misses. And he's just absolute trash. But, we got turnstiles in front of Mitch. And here, the difference is Mitch gets the ball and you can see through his helmet that he's like super anxious and he's jittery and when he gets the ball, he kind of panics. Whereas Nick, he was just, he had the same line. He was just a little bit more comfortable and just standing there and trusting his progressions. And that's ultimately what was the deal breaker.
Yeah. And I got to point out here, Jimmy Graham got 2 more touchdowns today. Damn it.
Yeah.
That's not looking good for me.
Not looking good for you right now. I think, what's the score?
3. Jimmy has 3, right? 3-1.
Yeah.
To Hawkinson. Hawkinson has 1.
Yeah. I knew the score. I just wanted you to say
it. Yeah, I know. And Allen Robinson, man. Yeah, go ahead, Kinger, go.
Yeah, so Barney, just give us the little breakdown of emotions here. The Bears are down 26-10, 9 minutes to go in the third quarter. Like, how were you feeling? Was there really were you still in it, still thinking there was hope for the game? Like, break us down how that went for you.
So yeah, you
saw it week 1. You were there week 1.
Right. And so right now what you're bringing up is when Nick's coming in. So I'd say I was a little bit more optimistic just because it's like, all right, let's see what we fucking got here. It's just, and then, as we're driving down the field, I was like, holy shit, maybe we do got something. And then that controversial interception that happened in the end zone, I was like, once that happened, I was like, I had shot up because I'm like, all right, like we got something here maybe. But once that happened, I was like, holy shit, like we can't catch a break here. I gotta tell you, you guys ever hear of these crystals things? I don't know. Chicks are into them. My wife's into them. Apparently, if they're in the sunlight, they give off positive energy. So once all this shit was happening, I moved all those sons of bitches over to the sunlight, and I looked like some Buddhist monk.
Oh no, you're a crystal guy now, Barney.
Oh my god!
I gotta tell you, I might just completely convert to the crystal life. So
do you have your wife to thank for the Bears' victory today?
Yeah.
You know what? I don't want to say like I had something to do with what went on the field, but I can't deny once I did it, we started scoring.
And I don't want to use this time to bash on the Bears because that was a good win today. And, it does give the Bears a whole completely different new vibe on offense with Foles. And it's going to see what Foles they get going forward. But there should definitely be some excitement because it was a step up. But I just got to say, Atlanta's just an absolute shambles. For them to blow another fourth quarter lead like this, that's got to be a real tough pill to swallow. And you got to really wonder what's going on down there for that to continue to happen.
Yeah, no, it was brutal. And just like watching us not like be stale on offense was just really hard for me to just like stay the course with it. But like I said, we had 6 drives with Nick, and I thought for the most part, except for one of them, they all went pretty damn well, whether we scored or not. And that was just something to be excited about.
Yeah, and did anybody stand out on defense for you, Barney, on the Bears side? Let's just talk about the defense for a little bit. I see Akeem Hicks had a sack and a half. Man, I think he's the most important player in that defense. Everybody talks about Khalil Mack because he's a big star, but Akeem Hicks, man, he's the one that makes that defense go, on the D-line at least, in my opinion.
Yeah, and Akeem is such a huge vocal leader. You're right. He's huge. But, dude, everyone wants to point about stats with Mac, and it's all bullshit, dude. I swear to God, if you just legitimately watch the game, he is held ruthlessly every play. And I'm not just saying it because I'm a homer. I'll send you shit.
Here we go.
Yeah.
But regardless, Mac is 1,000,000% the best guy on our defense. Akeem is awesome, and he had a great day today, but I would have to say Mac's definitely the best guy.
All right, Barney. So congratulations to your Bears over there. 3-0. It's hard for me to believe, at least. I think a lot of us here, besides you, and any of other Bears fans out there. But man, a lot of interesting stuff over there, and they like to make it pulse pounding every week. No, it's not been easy for you to watch, right?
Yeah, my ticker's going through the roof right now, so that definitely can't be good for the charts.
All right, so and let's move on to the other team on top of the division here. That's the Packers moving to 3-0, a big road victory in New Orleans for you, Kinger, man. Just talk about it. No Devontae Adams, no Nick Perry. After they expected Nick Perry to be back at least, but just talk about how the Packers, overcame not having those guys and still being able to score 37 points.
Yeah, Nick Perry, that's a reference, Big Z. I think you're meaning Kenny Clark. That's a reference that I
shit.
don't know.
Yeah,
that
my bad.
I've heard in a couple years.
I don't know where my mind's at. Yeah, Kenny Clark.
Yeah. But the Packers delivered again tonight. I was excited again coming into this game. I thought they had a good chance and thought they were going to match up well with New Orleans. And quite honestly, they delivered a great game tonight. It was high scoring. A lot of Breeze, a lot of Rodgers action. Defense necessarily was not the focal point tonight, although there were big plays made on both sides that definitely impacted the game. Offense, again, looked great. 43, 42, and now 37 points scored respectively. No Devontae Adams, no Michael Thomas, kind of evened out on both sides. Both teams without their best playmaker, arguably. Or I guess what best wide receiver, you can't discount Kamara and Jones in those conversations. But Packers played well. They stepped up. Defense again was a little shaky, and again we're going to continue to have conversations around this every week. How good are they? But they did enough to win the game, and we're 3-0. It's got to feel real good about it. Definitely, them being able to grind out this win. The fourth quarter, they really took control.
How about Alan Lazard stepping up, man? I bet a lot of people picked up Valdez Scantling to put in their fantasy lineups this week. He ended up with one reception for 5 yards, but Alan Lazard, 6 catches on 8 targets, 146 yards and a touchdown, man.
Allen has been a beast, and he not only is he contributing in the passing game, but additionally, he's such a great blocker on offense, and he's such a key part of their scheme, and all the motion and getting outside the different offensive sets that they run. He's such an important factor in that. And, for him to finally step up tonight with Devontae being out and really deliver, I'm super happy for the guy. And I think he's been definitely underrated and flying under the radar, and just in general from a lot of teams in this league. He really, I think, is a quality wide receiver too.
Yeah, that's wild. Does the big game so Alvin Kamara had 13 catches for 139 yards and 2 touchdowns. Does that concern you at all going forward, or is this just a special athlete going against the Packers defense, or does that concern you about the Packers defense going forward a little bit?
This is just pretty standard Packers defense, to be honest. They got playmakers and they got guys out there who make plays when it matters, as they showed again tonight they're capable of doing, but they are going to give up a lot of yards. No Kenny Clark. That's going to really hurt the run game. Christian Kirksey goes down early in the game as well. We've got a 7th round linebacker out of TCU, Ty Summers, who steps in, and he's got to, fill that role. And he did an okay job, but Kamara was a nightmare out of the backfield, and you kind of knew that was going to happen. We didn't really have anybody that could straight stick with him out of that, and so he ate us up. And I said on the podcast last week, look out for him, and I thought he was primed to have a big game, which he did. Pretty proud of the run defense though overall. It stats wise didn't look great, but ultimately I think they did a relatively good job neutralizing it, especially in the second half.
Yeah, absolutely. Remy, you've been quiet over there. How do you feel about the Packers starting off 3-0 here from the team you saw in the week 1 to winning on the road in New Orleans tonight?
I guess my biggest thing is, are you convinced? They're 3-0, but they haven't. You could argue that the Saints are probably the toughest quotes team that you guys have played yet, although they did lose to Vegas last week. Are you completely bought in, or what are some areas that need to improve for you to be completely bought in, or for the Packers to be contenders instead of quote unquote pretenders.
I'm fully bought in on this team. Absolutely. I mean, I gotta be right. This offense it's just. I mean, Rodgers hasn't looked like this comfortable in quite some time now, and he is vibing. I think they do have the offensive line, even without Bulag. I was a little. The one thing I didn't want to comment, I'm not going to question Matt LaFleur, who is now 16-3 as a head coach of the Green Bay Packers, which is really absurd if you think about that. Yeah. But starting Billy Turner at right tackle tonight. I know he's been injured the last couple weeks, but Rick Wagner's really been playing well. And there was, to have him come in and start at right tackle just to switch things up. It was just a little bit of a shock. But
wow, I wish the Lions had him.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. So far, Big Z, I'm happy to have him aboard. But
they
to answer your quote,
and the Packers got him for nothing too. That's what makes me more upset.
And he's resurging his career back in his home state. But yeah, I'm fully bought in, Remy. The defense is obviously going to be a cause of concern, but I don't know that there's anybody. And nobody has proved thus far that they can stop the Packers. And obviously we haven't played elite defenses still, but the Saints is a step up. They're a great team on the road. So I'm very excited, and I'm full on. I think they're gonna be a problem in the NFC. Them in Seattle, I think, have separated themselves.
And the Bears and Packers, just a reminder, listeners, do not play until Thanksgiving weekend, so November 29th. So there's a lot of games until that point, and then they play the last game of the season. So a long way before the two atop this division right now play each other.
Stay tuned.
No. But I mean, Barney, how do you feel about how the Packers are looking? The Bears are winning these games kind of by the skin of their teeth. The Packers looking a lot more comfortable in these games so far.
Yeah, I mean, dude, Aaron Rodgers is still one of the premier guys in the league. So, he just does things that even the premier guys don't do as well as he does, and that's like those hard counts and it's kind of they talked about it in this game, how quiet the Superdome was and how he was able to generate hard counts in an away stadium, like that. So who knows? I mean, they're always going to be a tough out. Every game's going to go down to the wire with them. And, it's, I guess we'll see later in the year.
Yeah, absolutely. And, Kinger, do you have faith that the Packers are going to turn around on the defensive side here going forward? Because that's looked pretty shaky. The offense, can they keep up 39 points a game? I don't know.
Yeah, that's going to be a tall task, but I've got confidence in the defense. Again, I mean, the stats haven't looked great, and we've let up some points, but really we've made big plays when it's come down to it, and that's been a fact so far. That's something that at the end of the day, that's the most important thing is those key situations is stepping up. And I mean, the big screen pass tonight, Chan Sullivan taking down Kamara, Za'Darius forcing that fumble with Taysom Hill. Those are the plays that matter in the game, and it's separated. So yeah, I'm not worried about it. I'm tired of giving up touchdowns right before the half, because that's what we've done in the first 3 games this year. So I'd really like to clean that up, because it seems like they're getting lax on those last drives in the half, and so that's one thing I hope that they address going forward.
Well, you got a lot of there's a lot more positives than negatives over there in Green Bay so far this year. So congratulations on the 3-0 start, Packers fans out there. Well, let's move to the game of the day, at least from my perspective. The Lions end their 11-game losing streak. This is why I picked them to lose. I knew karma there's something wrong. I just kept picking them for weeks and weeks, so I decided to pick against them. They win. It worked for me. But the Lions win 26-23 out in Arizona today. Came down to the wire. Matt Prater hit a field goal with 0 seconds left on the clock to win. And that's how we expect it to go. The Lions picking off Kyler Murray 3 times today. That was a nice change of pace. The defense had shown no signs of life the first 2 games of the season. Everybody is very well aware. Besides the first 3 quarters against the Bears, and not that damn fourth quarter. But anyways, so Matt Stafford 22 of 31, 270 and 2 touchdowns. He looked much better today. Still not a super crisp game. But he looked a lot better. And part of that reason was because Kenny Galladay finally returned. Thank God. They need him so bad, especially in the red zone. Really nice touchdown catch from him in the red zone today. They just throw it up high, and Kenny Galladay will go get it over the middle. That's his MO. He did it again today. So 57 yards and a touchdown for him. TJ Hawkinson got involved with 53. Really spreading the ball. And actually, the Lions fans have been clamoring for this guy, Jesse James, to get involved. They signed him for $20+ million last year from the Pittsburgh Steelers. Had, I think 13 catches all of last year. No sign of life from him in the first two games. Today, big touchdown on 3rd and 5 from the goal line. So that was nice to see. At 28 yards, actually, out of him, so he had a couple big plays. But the big story here is the Lions' defense. It still doesn't look great. They're giving up 4 yards of carry still, but getting turnovers was massive for them. They actually rushed the passer with 4 or more today. I think over 20%. They were going, I believe, into the game only winning 19% of their pass rush, 12% lower than the next closest team in the league. Just awful. So finally getting pressure, and it worked. Jeff Okudah still looking like a raw rookie cornerback, but made a great couple plays in the backfield on a couple screens, and also a big interception out of him. So that was good to see. The Lions' 3rd overall pick contributing. Did any of you guys get to watch this game? I know it wasn't on local TV. Had to watch it on Sunday Ticket, but I'm just curious if anybody thought, or thinks maybe the Lions have a chance to turn around this season. Go ahead and let me know if you think so. I think so. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid today after today's game.
Yeah, I'll comment and say that I'll give you credit, Big Z, because I was wrong about this game, and I may have overestimated the Cardinals a little bit, or maybe I was severely underestimating the Lions, but it was hard not to after what Green Bay did to them last week. But, overall, Stafford played great today, and you're right, having Galladay back was extremely important for them. And, Kyler Murray did not look like himself, or like Kyler Murray had, the previous couple games this season. So credit to the Lions defense. Was it Jamie Collins that had the interception? I saw that.
He had one. He did have one.
I think Collins. Not a good decision by Kyler there. Collins had great coverage on him, undercut the route, made the interception. And Prater, he's the guy. If there's a kicker in the league that you want, at the end of the game, stepping up, he's definitely right up there in that conversation. So. Good for the Lions beating the Cardinals, and good call, proving me wrong on my prediction that the Cardinals were going to roll them.
There isn't the Kyler Murray 5 carries for only 29 yards today. I think that was clutch because he was averaging over 70 yards a game coming into this. He did have a really nice. He juked out Jeff Okudah on the goal line today, so that was great by Kyler Murray. I mean, sometimes you can't do anything about that, especially in the goal line. But, man, DeAndre Hopkins still got his. He had 137 yards pretty easily, too. None of them were really contested. The Lions are kind of giving him a 10-yard cushion, probably because Okudah still gets beat down the field a little bit. But the Lions safeties played much better today. DeAndre Swift, I'd like to see him involved in the run game a little more. Adrian Peterson got 22 carries today for 75 yards. He had a great start to the game, then it kind of slowed down a lot. I would like to see DeAndre Swift involved more in the run game. That's something that was of note. Tracy Walker continues to be our best defensive player. Hopefully they start him now after, our safety Will Harris continued to play like absolute shit the first 2 weeks of the season. But Patricia, some reason, kept him out there. But that's all I had to say right now about the Lions. I'm just super pumped. 1-2. They're playing New Orleans next week. So I like the 1-2 New Orleans Saints going against the 1-2 Lions. I like the matchup. The Saints defense not looking too great right now, and I like the Drew Brees that can't throw deep down the field. I think that's going to benefit the Lions a lot. We'll see if Michael Thomas is back. Hopefully not. You got away with one there, Kinger. The fact that the Saints did not have Michael Thomas out there today. He's such a big part of that offense. That's why.
That's a fair statement, but we didn't have Devontae Adams, so it's definitely.
I knew you were gonna throw that back, but
it's evened out right there. We can't make that statement, but I agree with you. It's a different ball game with him in there.
And the Bears avoided Julio Jones over there too, Barney. So that was nice. Although Calvin Ridley looks legit for the Falcons, but it was nice to only have to guard one guy like that instead of two for the Bears today.
Yeah, and I would have to say, as far as the wide receiver duos go, I think Calvin Ridley's made a name for himself and has done just about everything he can to basically say, hey, I know I have Julio Jones here, but I'm a number one receiver, and he's one of the crispiest route runners there is.
I know. So this is the Bears so far though. They avoid Kenny Galladay. Saquon Barkley goes out really early, and then they avoid Julio Jones. Just saying. I'm trying to knock you off your pedestal a little bit there, Barney.
Do we avoid them, or are they scared of us? That's there's a common denominator here, and all I gotta say is I think the NFL is soft when it comes to the Bears.
I'm sure you believe that. All right. So Lions moved to 1-2. They're alone in third place in the division, and I'm sorry to report that to you, Remy, because they I'm just gonna say ugh to you. I don't know what to say. Remy, break it down for us. How did the Vikings offense finally turns it on, and their defense not so much?
So this was the perfect game to lose. You saw spurts of what I'm just throwing this out there. Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen, that combination automatically replaces the Diggs and Thielen. What Justin Jefferson did today is what Stephon Diggs did normally. So it's nice to finally see him step into that role. What really strikes me as panic is your offense out there, which are at that point are all veterans. At that point, you got Kirk Cousins, Adam Thielen. You got your veterans out there on offense, and you end up in a 4th and 25 for the win. I mean, come on. So the defense still continues to be banged up, no corners. I don't know why we don't make a trade. I don't know why we don't go get a free agent. And looking up ahead at the schedule here, Minnesota has Houston, Seattle, Atlanta, and Green Bay. You could be very well 0-6. And then comes the question, because people are already tweeting it, there are accounts, there are Photoshop jerseys of tanking for Trevor Lawrence, a once-in-a-generation, if you will. Do they want to try and turn things around? And when now there are even reports that Danielle Hunter can come when he comes off IR next week, still might not be able to be ready to go. No Danielle.
I mean, how do you feel, Remy? Are you giving up on a season like some of these fans that you're talking about? Are you still let's try to turn it around here? I think you mentioned before we got on here the Vikings have like a 3.8% chance to make the playoffs.
3.4% chance to make the playoffs at 0-3.
I was too high.
And at this point, I'm taking it week by week. I knew that going into the season, it was going to be rough at corner, and I had high expectation for Gladney. And when Gladney turns up not being a great first-round pick, I just think Minnesota's going to go 8-8, maybe 4-12, and we're going to get that 7-11 pick, which sucks. And I don't know. I don't see any positive. If your veterans are out on the field, and you can't win that game, I don't see us winning too many more games, because our schedule just gets harder and our corners are just getting eaten up. They're thin. They're young. Zimmer said he feels like sometimes he's coaching kindergartners because everybody's so young.
Yeah, Barney.
I just want to say, Remy, don't lose faith too much on the young corners, especially Gladney.
It's the hardest position in football to learn.
Well, I wouldn't say hardest. I'd say quarterback's probably harder. But I would say this. It was kind of the same feeling. I feel like you're going through what Bears fans went through when we drafted Kyle Fuller for our first round draft pick. We had absolutely no pass rush, and when you don't have a pass rush, especially with Danielle Hunter being out.
And Michael Pierce
You
opting
can't-
out.
Yeah, you and a COVID season like this, you can't expect them to do anything other than get ragdolled out there. So I mean, it's a long season, 17 weeks. I think hopefully by week 8, Danielle Hunter's definitely in, right? And there's some pass
If we're
rush going on.
0-6,
And
do we want him in? And then on some horrific play, he tears his ACL. At that point, if we're 0-6, I mean, does he come back?
yeah, you gotta. Yeah, players play. You gotta get them. You gotta get them in there. Let me just tell you something right now. There's absolutely no fucking way you guys beat out the Jets, all right, for the first pick overall. That whole Trevor Lawrence thing, I mean, that is like a mirage in the desert, all right? That ain't never gonna happen. But hey, it's the black and blue division. You're taking some lumps right now, but it's a long season. People go down, whatever. I can't believe I'm consoling you right now, but you're my friend, and I just want to be nice to you. So, don't give up too much hope here.
I'm hanging in there.
Yeah, you also can't discount the fact. Yeah, you can't discount the fact either. There's 7 playoff spots, not 6, so that's a big difference
That's
right
true.
there. The 7th spot belongs to the Rams right now at 2-1, but everybody underneath that is either 1-2 or 0-3. So there's a lot of time.
And just to let you know, I know you're pretty down on the 3.4% chance, but hey, when Nick Foles came in the fourth quarter, we had a 0.9% chance of winning the game, and it just sometimes
Miracles, baby.
Sometimes you
Minneapolis knows all about
Exactly.
miracles.
How the Bears fucking 3-0? I just don't get it. It's
2020.
unbelievable.
That's
I just was sitting there at the end of the day today, just like, this is unreal. That was the percentage chance I think of them winning against the Lions in the first game too. It's ridiculous.
And it begs the question: are the Bears the best team in football?
Yeah, I bet it does. Oh man, what? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 undefeated teams left. So. And 2 of those are playing tomorrow, Baltimore Ravens and the Chiefs. So, yeah, it's Seahawks, Bears, and Packers are the remaining undefeated teams in the NFC. The Bears and Packers are looking really good to make the playoffs now, especially with those 7 spots. But there's still a lot more games to go. Man, it just it was another good weekend of football. A lot of close games. At least 75% of us are going to sleep happy tonight, at least. So that's good. 75% of our listeners, too. And
What
maybe
about,
more than 75 if the Vikings fans want Trevor Lawrence so bad.
What about Cohen? Did they say what's going on with him?
Yeah, it was an unfortunate freak play. I haven't heard he's getting an MRI tomorrow. So, it's all but nailed in right now, but everyone basically saying it's an ACL tear. But, yeah.
Oh, man. I didn't know that.
Fair catch, and he just gets I know the guy got pushed, but it was about 5 yards away. So, like, I don't understand. Well, I do understand the Bears legitimately never get calls. But, just a guy coming in right on his leg, especially something where he drops the ball and he does like the whole like LeBron theatrics, and I just couldn't believe that there was no flag. But yeah, Cohen, that's gonna hurt our little, he's a joker back. So I mean, he kind of teams had the game plan for him, but I really like David Montgomery, and I'm glad we're starting to give him the ball a whole lot more and commit to him this year than we did last year. So, I hope for the best for Tariq, but I think David Montgomery's got us in good hands.
Oh shit! Yeah, I did not realize that happened during that game. Was there any other big injury updates? Remy or Kinger? The Lions didn't have too much.
All good here.
Kirksey left the game. So we'll see what's going on with him. He had a shoulder injury. So
when did he get hurt, and he didn't return?
I want to say it was the second quarter, late first, early second quarter. Yeah, he didn't return. So we will see what's going on because our other inside, we're very thin at inside linebackers. So hopefully we're getting good news with that. That's been the one knock with him with his career. Obviously, has been him staying healthy. So I hope we're not going down that road again.
Now is who was the guy, Summers or something like that came in?
Ty Summers, yeah.
And he's the direct replacement?
Yeah, so Kamal Martin, our rookie draft pick out of Minnesota, was the guy who was supposed to start opposite of Kirksey. He is on IR with a meniscus tear as well. So, yeah, it was Ty Summers tonight. We're very thin at that position.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. And I don't have any injury update on my end, but we will inform you later this week of any injury updates. I know at least for the Lions, like Trufant and some other people, we've been waiting to get back. Hopefully we'll be coming back. But we did have Kenny Galladay back today. That was nice to see for the Lions. But just next week, Indianapolis going to Chicago. New Orleans going to Detroit. Then Minnesota traveling to Houston. And then Monday night, Kinger, Atlanta going to Green Bay. Is it going to be 100 points? Should I just be taking the over immediately, no matter what the score, no matter what it is?
I think
so many overs.
That's a safe call at this point. If the Bears are able to put up yeah, on that Falcons defense today, well, who knows what Aaron Rodgers can do to it?
Yeah, I think yeah. I think the over's hitting like 65% of the time this year or something, or even higher than that after today. It's crazy how many points are being scored in the NFL. It's the most points, I think, through 3 weeks in the NFL in history. So it's kind of wild what's going on with that. But it's got to be this COVID-related season because I think the last time when there was that lockout in 2011, right, the over is also hitting over 60% of the time in the first 4 weeks of the season. So kind of similar trends there. Yeah, Barney.
I just want to knock Kinger off his pedestal a little bit here because the number one cornerback in the league right now, Jair Alexander, dude, that play where Kamara took that screen basically for 50 yards, dude, that was some of the most pansy tackling, and I'm highlighting Jair because I know he's just an instinctual lockdown corner. But does he have tackling concerns? Because he just went up to him, and I don't know if he doesn't know this, but he's not if he's bigger than Kamara, he's not much bigger, so he can't just go in there with a shoulder. But I was laughing when Jair just got basically bitched for that long run. But
you can take that single clip right there, that play, and you can just throw it and just absolute burn it and never show it to anybody again, because that was some of the worst tackling that I've seen from the Green Bay Packers. I think they had 5 attempts at Kamara. He got through all of them. There's no excuse for that. That was definitely a sore spot tonight. But it is what it is. Jair, that's definitely not normally. That's not something that he normally has an issue with. Normally, he's a very good tackler.
All right, so I think that's a good spot to wrap up this Week 3 recap. Again, the Bears and Packers sitting on top at 3-0. The Lions moved to third place at 1-2, and the Vikings 0-3. But we want to thank everybody for listening. Instagram, The Pylon. Please follow us up there. We're getting a lot of followers, right, Barney?
Yeah,
we're picking up a lot of steam, which is nice to see.
It's been fun. It's fun managing, especially today with just being able to put your guys' 3 recordings over it, saying that that Atlanta would walk away with the victory here today. So that was a little fun for me.
Yeah, yep. All right.
Let Barney keep enjoying this.
Yeah,
just let him enjoy the ride. It's been a minute.
It's something else. Oh, man. So, again, that's Instagram, The Pylon. Please subscribe to this podcast. Please share it. We'd really appreciate it. It's fun to listen to, and let's just keep growing it. We're all part of the NFC North here, so let's just keep growing it out. But thank you, everybody, for listening. Next week's recap, we'll have to discuss, but we might do it after Monday's game, so we get all the games in to talk about. But we'll have another one preview coming out this week on Thursday, most likely. So stay a lookout for that, and thank you, everybody, for listening, and enjoy the rest of your weekend.